Let's get going, shall we?
We are so incredibly excited to welcome Erika Doyle to Mother Tongue. Erika, how are you?
I am excellent today. It's so good to be here. You guys are right foot.
Oh, I'm What a way to start a recording. I mean, with a great compliment. I'm just going to measure. We're going to paint a picture here a little bit. Set the scene, as it were. We're all sat here. Well, actually, Erica's got a coffee, which I'm very impressed with. 5:30 on a Friday, and you're sipping on the coffee. We're actually drinking. I'm drinking a zero alcohol.
You got one of our bestsellers, CHC&T with rose tonic. So that comes in a ready-to-drink format, perfect when you don't want to mix your own drink. So all you did, you took a goblet glass ice and you're done. And you got Corona Zero, which is one of our new launches. So
I'm loving. It tastes exactly the same as normal Corona. Loving it.
And I think the whole feel and the vibe of the mother brand, the bottle, the experience, the labeling, and the liquid is just excellent inside. So there we go, a real Friday celebration.
I know.
Great to have you in person. Love having people in person.
I know, in the Mother Tongue studio.
Pink light on.
With a pink light on. Anyway, before we get on to all the good things, please, Erika, tell our lovely listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Erika Doyle. I am 35 years old. I've got
35 years young.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Complete error on my behalf. I've got 3 beautiful little girls, 6, 4, and 2. And I'm the founder of Drink Dry, which is the GCC's first and only non-alcoholic drinks marketplace. So we started life as an e-commerce platform where we were importing, it was just me at that point, where I was importing and selling premium non-alcoholic drinks. And I'm talking like adult sophisticated drinks rather than soft drinks and juices. Mm-hmm. And then slowly but very surely after we kind of conquered the e-commerce world and we proved that there was demand for the products and there were consumers out there who were dying out for these products, we launched into the world of wholesale and B2B. So we now supply hotels, restaurants. We've got some great partnerships. We supply retailers. We've got some great things in the pipeline. So we're kind of spreading our wings and we are taking over both channels, B2C and B2B.
Love that. Lots of exciting plans in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And can I ask, I mean, before we press record on this podcast, we did speak a little bit about when you set up the business, but we haven't dug down to the why. I mean, it's a very niche thing
that question
to do. I mean, you don't wake up one morning and think, I'm going to start a non-alcohol drinks brand.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
It didn't happen overnight. I think with anything, it starts before you voice it out. It starts from within. So you get like these niggles of something happening. And, and this is really, I love your followers, by the way. I think you have a beautiful community. So it's not one of those PR podcast interviews where you have to like think of your answers and be really polished of like, if you're talking on a panel with like a load of business leaders. As a mother of 3 girls, I kind of like tame down on my why and go like, well, I had these business aspirations and X, Y, Z, which is not actually true. And the reason my why was, I think, twofold. So when I got married in 2014 and my husband and I were trying to start a family, it wasn't happening. And we went to see a load of different specialists and everybody said, there's absolutely no reason why you two shouldn't have kids. And then a really wise, almost about to retire GP said to me, honey, just look at your lifestyle. Are you exercising? How many hours a day are you sleeping? What are you eating? How much are you drinking? And, I probably said a different number.
Always go less.
Yeah. And, and I didn't consider myself a big drinker and I still don't. And then he said, that's too much. You really need to change your lifestyle. And because I had a bigger purpose, a bigger reason why I wanted this crying, pooping, nappy, full baby, I was like, right, nothing is going to stop me. So I did change my lifestyle. And around 2015, I parked booze. I didn't know temporarily, permanently. I just parked booze. And the physical, emotional, and just mental clarity that I gained from that, my lifestyle naturally changed because you do find yourself waking up at 5:30 in the morning full of energy and you're like, I'm like an excited puppy. What am I to do with myself on a Saturday morning? Because we didn't go out and we didn't go to a pub on a Friday. So I've got a whole weekend ahead of me. And this is where I kind of So paint the picture, this is 2015 in the UK, where the brands of non-alc were kind of coming out, that your average Joe wouldn't have heard about them. But if you're Googling and researching, you were finding these like weird and wonderful founders in like North Yorkshire who were like brewing up this weird pea-based spirit. And it was just so weird. And because it was kind of, it turned into a bit of an obsession and a hobby, I remember reaching out to all these people and kind of saying like, I'd love to buy a bottle from you because I'm hosting a dinner party and I'm a non-drinker, but I want to look and seem like I'm part of the party, part of the conversations. So I was really early guinea pig of the category, even before the big boys.
Early adopter.
Yeah, early adopter. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to use that. I was calling myself a guinea pig, but I think I'm going to go with early adopter now. So by the time we moved to Dubai in 2019, I mean, I genuinely knew so many people in the industry just by reaching out to them on Instagram, being one of the first people who bought their product just as a consumer. And obviously my husband he's in drinks industry. So through his line of work, I had access to the big boys who I kind of got to learn that they were thinking about it. I remember being at I think it was Shiva's Regal tasting somewhere, and they had put on this amazing event, and they had this ambassador telling about 20 or 30 of us about tasting notes. And I put my hand up, and in all seriousness, I said, when are they releasing a non-alc version? And everybody just like started laughing, and they thought this was hilarious. Fast forward 4 years, they are actually working on it. And they're like, this might be a while. And the Shivas brothers genuinely got asked this question in Dubai when they were on the market visit. People were asking, is there a non-alc in the making? And they're like, we're working on it. Unless it's super good, we're not going to put a name on it. But it's happening. Like, the conversation is happening. So this is kind of like, and then we moved to Dubai, and now
There was nothing here, right?
there was nothing here. But then going back to my why, you fast forward, by this point, I think we moved to Dubai because of my husband's work. So I left what I thought was really good, comfortable life and moved here. I have 2 kids, a 6-month-old and an 18-month-old. The novelty of I really want to have kids was beginning to wear off. I'm a real get out, like staying at home mom. I bow down to women who can do it day in, day out. If I was the president of a country, I would build a massive statue for all stay-at-home moms because I bow down to them. I think that's incredible.
Same.
It was me. I was slowly wilting away, and I was really, really struggling. And it felt really hard thing to voice because, all the family around us knew that I wanted this family, these kids, and now I had them. And all of a sudden I'm whinging about it and moaning. So I kind of didn't voice it for a while. So I was itching. I wanted to do something. I was ready to do something. And then on top of that, I married somebody who was 24 years older than me, really successful in his line of work, has done incredibly well. He's a strong character. And then I was looking at these 2 girls that I then had, and I thought the last thing I want to happen is when they grow up, they think that mommy was a trophy wife, that mommy didn't do anything with her life, because they don't know what I did before. They don't know the jobs I had, the education I have, or the kind of person I was. All they know is this mummy that they knew since they were in my life. So that was my why, that I wanted to make sure that my girls, when they are older than 18 months and 6 months, that they actually are seeing me doing things I want to do, that I'm not complaining about being at home and being unhappy, that I wasn't complaining about being referred to as my husband's wife, because this is what happening. We were going out and people stopped remembering my first name. They're like, oh, this is Patrick's wife. I'm like, great, I have a first name, So these kind of things combined, and this was my why. I found a niche that I all of a sudden knew more than everybody else. And it was like, nobody else seems to know this stuff. And I just know it innately. And, I have all these contacts through my husband's line of work that I'm unashamedly going to use. And I had a really, really strong personal and emotional why because of my girls. And that's where kind of Drink Dry formulated in my head and came into being.
And so now, do you drink?
Nope.
So totally teetotaler.
No, and you know, when I stopped drinking alcohol, I think my husband stopped maybe 6 months after me, and he's not gone back either.
Really?
And
So
so
how long has it been?
about 8 years.
Wow.
But it genuinely was hugely helped by the fact that this category grew and amazing products were coming out. I never ever felt left out,
Yeah.
and then once you really get to experience the joys of never having hangover, always being 110%, even if you go out for dinner, you don't come in till 1 a.m., you can still get up at 5 and go to the gym. Okay, you're a bit tired, you're not on your best, but you can do it. Like
Yeah.
you're not feeling bad.
I have to ask. So this is my biggest thing. I genuinely, since having children, I don't drink a lot. I really don't drink a lot. Mostly because there is something in the back of my mind that tells me, do not drink too much because hangovers with a child is the worst thing. I mean, I'd rather poke my eyes out.
I'm nodding my head, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I was like your classic binge drinker before. I mean, I really drank. I really, really drank. And I think actually, you know, since having kids, if there has been that like blowouts that I've had, it's really affected me mentally as well as the whole parenting on a hangover. So yeah, I don't really drink anymore. But my main struggle is staying up. I mean, I wouldn't stay up till 1 a.m. without a drink. Can you give me some advice on this? Because this is my biggest thing. I am boring when I don't drink. I'm flat.
You learn. It's something you learn.
Okay.
It's really something you learn. You know, hand on my heart, there are parties that I choose no longer to go to.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. If it's a boat party that the invitation states 4 hours, I'm not going.
Okay.
Because I'm going into a confined space with a load of people who are going to drink, and first 2 hours are going to be great. And then the other 2, I'll have nobody to talk to because everybody's
Drunk.
Exactly. They're slurring. That's it. We in different universe, me and those people in different universe. A brunch in a great location where they serve good food and they have good drinks that I know we supply them. I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there until I want to be there, because once the conversations kind of start being uninteresting to me, then I can leave.
Yeah.
You know, and I can leave. And to go back to that, I think I love socializing. I would say it wouldn't be a weekend for me if we didn't host a dinner party or a drinks party or a pool party with our friends and family. And I love it. You know, I'm the happiest when I have people around me in my house, whether it's friends or family, and my kids are so used to having a full house. And it's just, it doesn't have to be booze. It really doesn't. We are socializing and being part of family and food and drinks. It's in our DNA. But once you kind of like change that habit of, you know, what you're drinking right now, you could easily drink that on a Friday night, dressed up in a nice black dress, heels, in a kind of like loud environment, and you'd have 2 or 3. Would you stay out till 1 o'clock? Maybe not, but good half 11, 12.
Yeah.
Probably would, you know? And it's something you learn. And I think once you go out once or twice, you realize how fun you are without the booze.
Maybe that's what I need to do, because genuinely at the moment, I think being of our generation, it is growing up in Britain, it's almost ingrained into you. You know, you start drinking at such a young age. And unlike our parents' generation, who grew up having a glass or 2 of wine every single day, and they're still doing it and they're completely fine. Our generation binge drank and got paralytic on the weekends. And, you know, half the people I know probably got their stomach pumps. And now we're kind of getting to the age where alcohol is having the reverse effect on us, and people can't drink anymore. They have mental health issues when they drink. They don't like the taste, the smell.
Look, I never, like, when I started Drink Dry on my personal journey, I never tried to talk people out of drinking alcohol. It's not my bag. Like, I don't care. You do what you want. But I think what I enjoy is what we do. And there is a whole lifestyle to be had. Just happens to be booze free, you know? So if somebody purposely asks me why you don't drink and what are your reasons why and what are the benefits, I'll happily go into a whole rant and tell them about it. But if nobody's asking me,
You don't
I'll keep it to myself. No, absolutely. I'll keep it to myself. And I think if you're referring to our generation, there's a lot more moderation, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, you don't have to be a teetotaler to enjoy Drink Dry products, or you don't have to be an absolute binge drinker to only drink alcohol. So I think you can do a bit of both.
Yeah. And I think it's so nice to have the option, because I remember when I was pregnant with my son, so 2020, there weren't any options here. And it was like you'd go out and they could give you like a mocktail, but it was
Sugary, horrible.
sweet. Then you can only have a couple. Then they're sickly. It's like, well, I don't just want to drink water. Like, we really didn't have any options. And then, to your point, my husband, it was his 40th birthday and we had a boat party and I was pregnant and it was 6 hours. It was a joint 40th. And the first bit was fine. And actually I did take some of the drink dry, like the sparkling wine, with me. And it's like, it's okay to a point, and then everyone gets so drunk. You can't talk to everyone. They're falling all over the place. Just not enjoyable.
Exactly.
And when I was pregnant and my other friend was pregnant at the same time, we'd be like, we're happy to do brunches with everyone, but it has to be one with good food. You guys get all the alcohol and you have that. And as long as we've got the good food, we don't mind.
We're good.
Yeah. But I remember even for my baby shower, I did a brunch and again, picked one with good food, but we had a limo. I went all out on this baby shower.
Which we love. We love this, by the way.
We had a limo. And then when we got back to mine, Marianne, you came round. And do you remember I had the sparkling, the Prosecco that you do and the wine, and you genuinely feel like you're drinking alcohol.
Celebrating.
You're part of the occasion more so. You're not, oh, I've had one mocktail, now I'll go into water. And it was just so nice to have those products. And then, you know, when you're breastfeeding as well, to everybody else, it looks like you're drinking wine and it tastes.
And it's how you feel as well. You just don't feel left out. You know?
Exactly.
I remember, I know exactly which sparkling wine you're probably referring to from our store. Because I remember, so we launched Drink Dry Store as a website in December, I think it was December 14th. And then, I mean, we had no money for paid media. We barely just set up our SEO. It was we were bootstrapping to its core. So it was just, you know, we send out messages to people we knew. And one day, like, these orders started coming in. And, you know, when you're not used to getting orders online, you're like, something's afoot. You know, we just received 18 orders in about 5 minutes. This is not normal. You know, somebody must have done something. And I think it took me 2 or 3 days to figure out that a lady who is an interior designer and who actually was decorating my house for Christmas, and we got chatting and she was like, I really don't want to drink this Christmas. I'm really getting off booze. And she said, I'm so like nervous about the whole Christmas period coming up because there's going to be so much pressure. And I said to her, take this, like just take this bottle and, you know, have something when people come. And what she did, because she's part of this interior design private Facebook group that I wasn't even a member of, so I didn't know that she posted. And she genuinely posted a really nice review of herself saying, oh my goodness, like I've just tried this product and, you know, I didn't want to be drinking, but I didn't want anybody else to know. And I didn't want people to ask me questions or anything like that. And she posted that. And I think because there were so many women who either were pregnant or knew somebody who were pregnant, they believed her that this actually is a different type of product. It's not just a sparkling grape juice in a bottle. It tastes good. It's low in sugar, low in calories. And that's how we kind of like got our first little set of customers. You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
It is often, you know, not adverts, it's genuine reviews from people that are trying them.
Word of mouth.
Much more authentic.
So when we set out, I remember we shipped in a couple of containers, which was huge expense for me because it was all self-funding. And in my kind of like little business planning, we had probably 6 months worth of stock if we were going to do well. If not, I'm writing off 2 containers, you know? So we launched on the 14th of December. And by the 9th of January, we were air freighting that same sparkling wine from France at a loss, because by the time you've air freighted it and you're selling it, you're not making anything because the air freight is so expensive. But we sold everything with zero advertising, just purely by mums in communities, Facebook groups, whether it's school chats. I don't know how the word spread, but completely organically. And I'm sure to this day, I managed to find out where that particular kind of set of customers came from. And there's so many other private Facebook groups that I'm not a member of, and I'll never know.
Yeah.
But we just completely got wiped out of stock.
And I'm sure a lot of it is the mum community, because
it's powerful.
The mum community is very powerful. So I guess you probably do find a lot of your customers are mums or mum-to-bees.
We do. I think what we do, we kind of segment our customers. Again, you asked me why. I think all of us have a why for everything.
For sure.
Why we work in a particular segment of a career, why we eat certain foods, why we have kids. We all have our why. So we made a mistake initially where we kind of segmented our customers into demographics, ethnicity, age, gender. And then like once you've done that, it doesn't give you anything. How do you market to that? Or it doesn't give you any information. And then we kind of changed it and we ran a couple of focus groups, and we then segmented our customer base based on their why. So you have the fitness group who are really into their fitness, people who, 1% better every day is what they strive for. And they will be up at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday in Alcudra cycling, regardless of what they did on a Monday. They are my target audience who will not drink alcohol because they know what they're doing next day of their training. Then you have your wellness crowd, people who are really into their food. They're the people who turn the bottle around and check what's inside there, the calories, the ingredients. You have your pregnancy. So people, they kind of find us and discover us while they're pregnant, but then they stay with us on that journey because you go into parenthood, and just exactly what you said, parenting on a hangover. I mean, God help my kids if they ever saw me on a hangover.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
It's the piss.
It's the worst, So parenting, and not just even that, you are conscious that if something happened in the night, you've got to get up and drive.
This is the thing. And also, I've always had this kind of fear that if I come home drunk and I drop one, or you're walking up the stairs carrying one, you fall over. For me, it's never worth it unless I'm like completely removed from the situation. I might let go a bit
sometimes, but then you arrange childcare and you do a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're still safe. But I wanted to talk about statistics around non-drinkers now, because I think we're all aware that there's been a massive shift culturally, globally, around people, especially in our generation, moving from drinking to being total non-drinkers. Do you have any facts and figures around that you can share, just how this shift has changed in the last few years?
I think there's a lot of studies and a lot of research done, particularly in the UK and Europe and America. Nothing has been done in the Middle East.
No.
And any statistics that we get from, say, the brand owners that we work with, and they're like, well, this is what works for us in the UK. I'm like, that is fantastic. Because, if you're saying to me that the age generation from 21 to 35, 49% are now non-drinkers. It's really great. I mean, I salute that.
How?
We have a completely different demographic here in Dubai. We have a huge local population, and to be trying to sell something to them that is a replacement for something that they don't drink anyway, I mean, you fall in love before you started. So yes, globally, and particularly if you look at the West, there's a huge shift amongst the young generation towards the non-drinking. And this is why the big boys like Diageo, Pernod Ricard, AB InBev, who are the brand owners of Tanqueray, Beefeater, Captain Morgan, Stella, Corona, these huge brands.